The Church of Christ the King is a church belonging to the Catholic Apostolic Church which is situated in Gordon Square, Bloomsbury, London, beside Dr. Williams's library and near University College London. The church is currently used by Euston Church for Sunday services. The English chapel at the east end of the church is used by Forward in Faith for weekday services. It has been Grade I listed building since the 10th of June 1954. History, construction and design: Early English neo-Gothic in style and cruciform in plan. The church was built by Raphael Brandon between 1850 and 1854 for the Victorian church movement, the Catholic Apostolic Church. It is built of Bath stone, with a tiled roof. The structure is incomplete, lacking two bays on its liturgical west side and a crossing tower. Its cruciform plan is made up of a nave with full triforium and clerestory, side aisles, sanctuary and lady chapel. All of the church's exterior corners have octagonal corner turrets with gabled niches and terminating in spires with gablets. The facade has pinnacled buttresses and corbelled parapets. The main entrance is at the east end, from Gordon Street, through a gabled porch with angle buttresses which links onto the Lady Chapel via an octagonal turret and two light room. The five-bay nave has a gabled east facade with three large lancets below five smaller ones on the inside. It has a timber hammer beam roof with angels and central bosses of snowflake design, as well as a double arcaded triforium. It also contains a cathedra for its angel of the Catholic Apostolic Church. The crossing is made up of roll-molded arches on clustered columns. The transepts are gabled, with two layers of three lancets below a rose window. The south transept's windows are the most notable. The lancets have Christ in majesty with ranks of saints, apostles and angels and earth below, whilst its rose window is by Archibald Nicholson and has a dove in the centre surrounded by musician angels and cherubim and seraphim. The church's three-bay sanctuary has a roof with stone rib vaulting and foliated bosses, along with a sanctuary lamp by Augustus Pugin. The three-bay Lady Chapel is beyond this sanctuary, separated from it by a screen behind the high altar with open traceried window to the chapel. The chapel itself has a richly painted timber roof and stone angel along with an east facade with arcaded lancet windows below a small rose window, and gable, along with gabled and pinnacled buttresses. In 1870, a fine organ was erected by Messrs. Gray and Amp Davison. It was a three-manuals organ with pedals, containing 13 stops on the great organ, 12 stops on the swell organ, 10 stops on the choir organ and 8 on the pedal. In total there were 6 couplers. One of the first organists was Edmund Hart Turpin. In 1903 a sub-bass 16 feet was added to the choir organ. Annette Peach, in her entry for Brandon in the Dictionary of National Biography, writes, "The Catholic Apostolic Church in Gordon Square, London, was built between 1850 and 1854 and, though reproducing features recorded by the Brandon brothers in the scholarly works, this extremely large church was criticized by contemporary for its lack of originality of design. Recent scholars, however, have drawn attention to the combination of 13th and 15th century Gothic precedents in its design, which offer a tangible record of the Brandon brothers' study of ecclesiastical architecture." The church was designated a Grade I listed building on the 10th of June 1954. University Church. From 1963 to 1994, it was known as the University Church of Christ the King and served the Anglican chaplaincy to the universities and colleges of the Diocese of London. In practice it was a worship centre for students living in the university halls nearby, but was also used occasionally for London-wide events, with a very strong emphasis on music and worship. This new role was begun with a morning Eucharist at which the Bishop of London, the Right Reverend Robert Stopford, celebrated, and an evensong with the former Bishop of London, J.W.C. Wand, preaching, both on the 6th of October 1963. During this period, a Thanksgiving Eucharist was celebrated on the 27th of November 1988 for the 25th anniversary of this role, with the Right Reverend Michael Marshall preaching, and on the 6th of December 1983, the memorial service for Nicolaus Pevsner was held here. The last chaplaincy Sunday service was held on the 28th of June 1992, but a weekday service continued until Ash Wednesday 1994. The chaplaincy returned the lease on the church to the Catholic Apostolic trustees on the 30th of June 1994. There was a popular student cafe, the Crypt Cafe, in the basement for several years until the church closed. Euston Church. Euston Church, a Church of England Bishops' Mission Order plant, started meeting in the church from September 2015, with services at 10:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. http eustonchurch.com / in Faith. The English chapel at the east end of the church is used by Forward in Faith. Mass is celebrated on each weekday at 12:30 p.m. http www.forwardandfaith.com English Chapel, php